Imagine all the people living sugar-free. Ooh, ooh, ooh. They may say, I'm a dreamer, or just plain crazy, okay? Imagine if the whole world had no refined sugar in it. What would our world look like? Okay, so all we have to do is go reverse a few thousand years to a time where we didn't have refined sugar, where the only sugars we had were things that we sourced in nature, and we usually have them seasonally. So that means fruit, maybe a bit of honey. There wasn't honey everywhere in the world, and it wasn't easily accessible. So we didn't actually have a lot to work with, and it wasn't overly abundant. Now fast forward a few thousand years, and sugar's everywhere and it's in everything. So just imagine if tomorrow there was no refined sugar available. What would your supermarket look like? Well, you could pretty much clear out about 80% of what's on the supermarket shelves. So it would mean we'd have to totally have a different relationship with food and sourcing food. Now, that might seem really unrealistic, and it probably is not going to happen even in my lifetime, I imagine, unless there's some catastrophic disaster, which I am not predicting, okay? No Nostradamus kind of predictions here. But I have a belief that if we took sugar out of our system, literally our hospitals within a year would be half full. Some might even say even less. Because refined sugar is connected to 144 diseases and conditions, imagine going 12 months in your life and you had absolutely no access to refined sugar. Imagine what that would do, not just in the case of if you have a chronic disease or a terminal disease diagnosis that is directly connected to sugar consumption. What that's going to do for your energy levels, your ability to sleep well, your mental function. We're seeing now that the Alzheimer's statistics are just predicting catastrophic diagnosis for people. And we're learning that because sugar is the #1 food for Alzheimer's. They're calling Alzheimer's diabetes type 3. So if we didn't have refined sugar on our planet, the future for people growing up would look very different to what it looks like right now. Diabetes, we're looking at 1 in 2 predictions. Cancer, we're looking at 1 in 2 people getting it predictions. Then we go heart disease, we talk about Alzheimer's. As we've seen the increase of sugar consumption and processed food and chemicals in our diet, as that has increased, so has the trajectory of an increase of lifestyle diseases. So what does that mean if we could imagine a world without refined sugar in it? Well, I think there'd be a lot more peace in the world because people would have grounded, even emotions. They'd be thinking more clearly, and they'd actually have that energy and vitality and even moods that help them deal with a lot of things, because life is not easy. It can be a struggle, it can be difficult, it can be challenging. But what I do know is that life on sugar is much more challenging. A little bit of a hit of our drug at the beginning to kind of deal or cope with it, but it creates way more problems than it actually solves in that moment of pleasure. So, what do you think? What do you imagine would happen if refined sugar was taken out of all of our, our food systems globally? And I want you to suspend your, disbelief as to whether it could happen, or possibility of, corporate interests would never let that happen, all those kind of, theories external to the actual theory. What would happen? What's your vision for a world without sugar? What would your life look like without sugar? What would your family's future look like if you didn't have refined sugar in it and refined foods and chemicals? What could you achieve personally? What could your children achieve? How long could you live? And what kind of quality of life would you have? I would love for you to share your thoughts, ideas, and comments in the comment section. So if you've liked this video, please press like, subscribe to our channel, and for more information, simply go to sweetfreedom.ca.